Hey, what's going on? It's Tuesday night. That means we're hanging out here on fantasy football today. I'm Adam Azer with Shraggy B. What's up,
What
man?
is up?
Yeah, dude. We're going to be reading your questions all throughout the show. I'm actually going to hop off in a little bit. Chris Towers and Heath Cummings are going to take over for me, but Ben and I are going to kill some time before that. Ben, let's see. What are the people what are the people going to be chatting about tonight?
I mean,
go
we would love
Giants,
to have
sure.
stats, but we've got Birants is saying what's up.
Hey, Mahesh, what's going on, man? Yes, from Buffalo. You should be a Bills fan, not a Giants fan. I am very sorry for you. But if you have any questions, fire them in. I did enjoy the chat we had today with Chris and Heath about advanced stats, about best ball. And I really felt like the David Montgomery stuff was very interesting. You know, how good is he basically? What do the broken tackles mean? This is a guy who has a knack for breaking tackles. This is also a guy who's had a pretty disappointing offensive line in his tenure with the Chicago Bears. If they can get, it looks like Chris and Heath are going to be joining us now. Okay. Hey, guys.
Of course we're joining.
All
And
right.
He doesn't have his earpiece in, so he'll pretend he's hearing us.
Okay. All right. Hey, Ben, and his microphone's not working.
Yeah, Heath he's got Heath, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, Heath's muted.
I would like to make note that my fashionably late and Chris's 5 minutes early is in fact the same time.
No, I was in the backstage before you.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure.
There would be literally no way for me to check that.
He
I'm
beat
not
him by
sure.
about half a second.
Yeah, it was really close though. It was really close. It was like when twins are born. I'm gonna only be on
When twins are born, it's a very clear delineation.
but it's
Minutes apart. Yeah, they don't like come out.
They
one
don't
holding
like
on
they're
together,
not
I
like
don't think.
one just like push. Like, they're not like fighting their way out.
okay,
They
but in
take turns.
context of 9 months in the womb together, like a minute or two is pretty. Oh, forget it. All right, let's read some questions here.
Good start.
How did the ribs turn out, Heath from Birants?
I haven't made ribs in a while, but that is I will just readily admit this because I'm fairly confident in my smoking skills. Otherwise, that's the food that I am not yet really good at. I'm fine. It's still probably better than most like places you would go buy ribs, I would say, but it's not like, ooh, somebody that knows what they're doing made these. It's almost always just disappointing to me.
Okay, I won't have any. Thanks. You didn't offer. Jeff Stanley says rookie draft, Michael Carter or Trey Sermon. Carter seems to have a clearer path to a bigger role this year, but given the draft capital he got, he might also be more replaceable in the future. I mean, the draft capital was pretty similar. Yeah, Trey Sermon was round 3, Carter round 4, but it couldn't have been separated by that many picks. So who would you guys take, Carter or Sermon?
This is one of those kind of like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, where I think every time I go and update my rookie rankings, that they flip flop. So it's really, really close. Right now, I confidently have Trey Sermon higher. No, like I don't think either one of these guys are going to be full-time backs in the NFL. I don't think either one of them are going to be top 25 fantasy running backs. Very likely, more than maybe 1 year or maybe 2 in their career. But I just don't think they're full-time backs. But I think it's more likely Trey Sermon on the 49ers could have a stretch of productivity with 12 to 15 touches that makes us want to use him than it is Michael Carter on the Jets.
I think Michael Carter. I hadn't spoken in a couple hours, so I think Michael Carter has a more likely chance to be like an RB3 and a pretty limited chance to be an RB2.
Yep.
Whereas Sermon has a pretty limited chance to be an RB2, but you can squint and see him maybe having a few RB1 weeks.
Okay, guys, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I am hopping off. Unfortunately, I cannot be on the show tonight. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see this.
Well, I'm glad I rushed.
This is my water in my house. So we've got
That looks pretty bad.
Yeah, we got some issues.
You should name that pipe the Knicks because it's broke.
Yeah. So we are washing our hands and everything with bottled water tonight. So it's just
It makes you feel like being back in South Florida, right? Like after a hurricane.
I bathe in Evian, so it's really not a big adjustment for me. But for everyone else in the house, it's different. So anyway, I'm sorry. A home issue here, or I should say a house issue. That is a home issue sounds much worse. A house issue here that I have to take care of and help get the kids into bed and all that stuff, and it's going to be a challenge. So I actually, in all seriousness, and genuinely upset that I cannot be on the show tonight because I do love hanging out on Tuesday nights with our audience. But Heath, Chris, Ben, have fun. Thank you for stepping up. And
anytime, Adam.
all right, so I'm just going to leave.
Bye, Adam.
Bye, guys.
All right, so here we
go.
are. I'm going to answer some questions and talk about good basketball teams. Well, the Warriors suck, so all right, we'll take one from Sean. Would you rather have CeeDee Lamb, Najee Harris, or CEH, Waddle, and a 2023 FRP?
First round pick.
Man, 2023 is so far away that like I don't really know how to value it, but probably pretty low. I think CH and Najee is actually fairly close, Heath. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, very close.
But I think CeeDee Lamb's a lot more valuable than Jalen Waddle.
I don't know if CeeDee Lamb is a first round pick more valuable. But I think I prefer Clyde's side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to play more Dynasty leagues. I've been in one with Heath for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I don't do a lot of pick trading in that league. So I'm still trying to figure out like what the right way to approach those things are. And so like,
right.
The 2022 draft is a long time from now. 2023, that's almost a whole year further.
The harder thing about the 2023 is like I can look at a team, and I made some trades like this in our Dynasty League. I feel pretty confident they're going to have a good pick or a bad pick next year.
Yeah.
You're talking 2 years from now. You better just count it as the value as 1.06 or 1.07. 1.07 if they're good, 1.06 if they're bad.
Yeah.
Because there's really no telling what that pick's going to be.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on to the next question, last time we got over 100 likes exactly 60 minutes into the stream. Let's hit the like button right now. Let's get there 30 minutes into the stream. Show that we can have likes without Adam Azer here. So let's do it. Smash that like button. Hit that right now.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. All right, this one's from Terry. How good is Pooka Williams? Small guy, Bengals. How good is he?
Probably not as good as Giovanni Bernard.
That's the most important question, right?
Well, it doesn't matter what we think. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is whether they've been talking about Samaje Perine getting a decent number of touches. Like they're making it sound like Samaje Perine is kind of the primary backup. That would make me feel better than an unknown, just because I know Samaje Perine's not that good.
He's not going to catch passes either.
Well, yeah, more importantly, like the thing that they trusted him on passing downs, and he was very good for most of his career there, catching the ball. So I don't think there's anybody on the team that's going to take him off the field on those downs, including Pooka as a rookie. And so sky's the limit for Mixon. He might be a top 5 running back this year finally.
Yeah, this is one I get. Like earlier today, I tweeted about Joe Mixon and how I like his early ADP, and I got multiple. Well, sounds like someone's never drafted Mixon before, and it's like,
True.
One, don't do that. It's just like
True.
Just don't do that, because like that is a bad way to play fantasy football. You should view players as what they are likely to do in the upcoming season, not what they have done to you specifically in the past.
But also true.
Mixon has finally had the situation. What's the joke?
The joke is that like what they said was actually true. You've not drafted Joe Mixon before because you never liked him before.
I had him in a rookie draft. So I think the last time I had him on a team was 2 years ago.
That was 4 years ago, I think.
Well, it's a 3-year keeper for rookie tags.
Okay.
So
Let's move on to Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards Helaire. Is he a workhorse this year, Heath? What round should he be drafted in?
I don't think anybody should feel very confident in the answer to the first question. Andy Reid had a history for most of his time in Philadelphia and early in Kansas City of having really great fantasy production. That's still been true in spurts over the last couple of years. But there were some things that Clyde wasn't very good at in the first half of last year when they used him like a workhorse. And they went and traded for Le'Veon Bell. And then in the playoffs, they gave way too many snaps to Darrell Williams. And there was a lot of sharing when Damian Williams was the main guy, even when he was really good at scoring a lot of touchdowns, but he was getting like 13 to 15 touches a game.
I mean, even
like I
even
think
when
probably
Kareem
not,
Hunt-
but maybe.
yeah, even when Kareem Hunt was the lead back, he was playing 70-ish% of the snaps, but there were some weeks he was in the 65% range. There were some weeks he was in the 80% range. So yeah, no, he's not a workhorse, but I've got him down for 245 carries and 73 targets.
That's pretty close to a workhorse. That's 17 games though. So yeah,
17 games. So it's I'm still not sure. You know, you've got the 17th game. I feel like injuries are going to be up. And so does the like 300 touch threshold really change in terms of like considering someone a workhorse?
I doubt it. As far as what round he should be drafted in, I'm just not going to get him because I would rather have Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs still. And so I've got him at the end of the third round. I think if you want him, you're going to have to draft him at the 2-3 turn probably.
Yeah, I've got him at the 2-3 turn.
All right, let's look at Rodney's question. Who do you think will be the best starting two or the better starting two? Chubb and Taylor or Akers and CEH? I think even in non-PPR, it's quite obvious.
Yeah, PPR or non-PPR, I think it's Chubb and Taylor.
Yeah. No. Yes. I prefer Chubb to Clyde even in PPR. So yeah.
Do you guys see Akers sneaking into the first round?
Occasionally.
I could see someone talking themselves into it. I don't think they should.
I've got Aker, but see, I'm a little lower on Taylor's projection, but you're going to see Nick Chubb in the first round occasionally. You're going to see Jonathan Taylor in the first round a lot.
I think 99% of the time.
99% of the time. Then I probably won't
that's
get any Jonathan
been
Taylor
pretty
either.
much every draft we've done so far, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's not even like been a 1-2 turn thing. I feel like he's been like 6th to 8th in most.
I have to look at what his ADP is. I don't remember even seeing his ADP on NFC. I'm looking at it right now.
For Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
It's super high.
5.7.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to get any.
Has
Jonathan
never
Taylor
gone lower than 10th.
I will not get any.
All right. Forrest says I need to show love for DJ Moore. Do you guys love DJ Moore this year?
I always love DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is just an outrageously talented wide receiver. One of 7 wide receivers, I believe, with 3,000 plus receiving yards heading into their age 24 season ever. I view him, he's in a similar spot to where Stephon Diggs was this time last year. I think he is absolutely capable of being a number 1 do-it-all, like elite wide receiver, exactly like what Stephon Diggs was for Buffalo. The question is, can Sam Darnold make even a half as big a leap as Josh Allen did? If he can, I think DJ Moore can absolutely be a top 10 wide receiver. And as bad as Sam Darnold is he worse than Will Grier and Kyle Allen? Because he was a top 15 wide receiver with those guys as his quarterback.
The thing that could make him worse is if the double familiarity connection of Robbie Anderson causes him to lead the team in targets instead of DJ Moore.
Yeah, I don't know. Robbie Anderson was used so differently last year than he
so was DJ Moore
with the Jets that I don't know if Sam Darnold would recognize that player.
I think like I love DJ Moore as well, but I have less optimism than Chris. I feel like he could be Stephon Diggs on like the 95th, 97th percentile this year, but I also think he might be Juju, and he might be Juju without the touchdowns.
I mean, yeah, to be clear, I've got him as the number 16, 17 wide receiver. Yeah,
Yeah,
17 wide
I'm like
receiver.
19. I'm like 19 or 20.
And 45 overall for me. So
Do you like him or Thielen more? They're going right next to each other right now.
I'm way lower on Thielen than the consensus. I have Thielen 30th at wide receiver.
I think I have DJ Moore or Thielen. This is one of those where it's just a lot more fun to draft DJ Moore. I think I have Thielen projected for more points, but Thielen like around behind him because I don't want to draft. I mean, and I don't want to get into a draft and look at my rankings and think, or worse yet, someone else be using my rankings and pick Adam Thielen over DJ Moore because that feels terrible.
Let's move on to a question from Birants. 12-team PPR keeper, first round pick for your keeper. Been keeping Mahomes. QBs go pretty early. So I've been taking that risk. One championship in those 2 years. Do I keep Mahomes or go to Jonathan Taylor?
Like
if it was Dynasty, it might be Mahomes. I think in keeper, it's got to be Taylor.
Like conventional wisdom definitely says it does. I'm going to assume this is a 6-point per pass touchdown league. And it's like, if it's one of those, like my home league, if you don't keep Patrick Mahomes and you don't get your first round pick, then you might just have a crappy quarterback. Because
we might want to go back to Trey Sermon for a second. Sorry for interrupting, but Jeff Wilson had surgery to repair a torn meniscus. He's out 4 to 6 months, which that would keep him out at least the start of the season, if not pretty much all of it.
Yeah, so I think you have to like Sermon more than Michael Carter now.
Yeah, that could be pretty significant. You'll have to update my projections there.
I mean, how high does Mostert go now?
I don't think it changes much for him.
I mean, I would expect he will be a Mostert running back until he gets hurt. Right, Chris?
Now he's going right ahead of Leonard Fournette.
I would rather have him than Fournette, but I'm also really, really low on everyone in the Buccaneers offense except Tom Brady.
I do not have a Buccaneers running back projected in my top 40. I think I bumped Jones and Fournette ahead of their projection because there was a chance one of them could be a feature back, and then it would be a steal as a 30th running back. But they're projected in the 40s.
I'm higher on them than you. 37 for Fournette, 44 for Jones. Look at that.
Yeah, the big effect to my projection is going to be I had Wilson projected for a pretty high touchdown rate because they used him in that role quite a bit last year. There could be an extra 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns that just popped open in that offense.
For run back Deebo Samuel.
Yeah,
I would love to see it.
Let's talk a little deep sleeper in Buffalo. Is Gabe Davis the guy, despite them adding Emmanuel Sanders in the offseason? This is from Lou Gehrig, by the way, so pretty cool.
I don't think Emmanuel Sanders at this point in his career, I mean, he's 34 years old. I don't think there's much a chance that he matters. If Gabriel Davis takes a leap, it's going to be because Gabriel Davis is too good to keep off the field. I think Sanders and Beasley are probably more interchangeable in terms of their skill sets at this point in their careers. So if Davis, I mean, he was a big play receiver in college. He was a big play wide receiver last season. If he proves that what he did in a smaller role was legitimate last season, I think he could be the number 2 wide receiver in that offense.
He and T.Y. Hilton are going back to back. Do you guys prefer him or T.Y. Hilton? As boring
Davis?
as T.Y. Hilton is. Yeah.
I think it depends how my draft is going. If I'm taking my 5th wide receiver, it'll be Davis. If I'm taking my 3rd, it'll be Hilton.
Let's move on to Cowboys running back Zeke. When trading Zeke, what kind of value should I be looking for? Thanks, Evan.
A lot. This is a bad time to trade him, though. I assume you're talking about Dynasty, and I mean, we probably just saw his, hopefully, the worst year of like the first 6 or 7 years of his career. And so I don't really want to trade him right after that. But I also understand that if you don't have a good team, you can't hold on to him until the start of the season, just on the off chance that he's in a committee or Pollard looks better than him at some point or something, and then his value is just gone because he's 27 years old. So I would need at least a first, a second, and another first.
Yeah, I think Dynasty and like keeper / 2021 value are very different for Elliott. I view him as a top 10 running back for 2010. He's number 8 for me in PPR, number 7 in non. I don't really think there's any chance for 2021 that he loses his job or gets into like a real committee. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you know, when Elliott came back from that missed game with the calf injury, it wasn't like he was splitting carries with Pollard. And I think a lot of his struggles last season, partially, Dak Prescott not being there certainly hurt in the offensive line. He was also playing through that calf injury for a while. You know, it wasn't just like it started in week 14 when he left the game. He had been managing that for about a month before that. And that did coincide with probably his worst stretch of the season.
Let's move on to a question from Trix. We're talking best ball today earlier on the podcast. If you haven't seen it yet, there's the full episode on YouTube. There's the best ball segment is in its own YouTube video, so you can go check that out after. But right now, where would you guys pull the trigger on Davante Adams in best ball?
I haven't really done many best ball drafts, but I can't think of a reason why he wouldn't be a first round pick.
My rankings, my rankings still say that, but I have not been able to pull the trigger at the end of the first round.
I get okay, yeah. I keep not thinking about the Aaron Rodgers of it all, and I'm also being distracted by a cat that's attacking me.
Really does not like the fact that you're on this program, I don't think.
Well, she wants attention, and she ignores me all day until I start talking. And if I don't kick her out of the room while I'm podcasting or doing video, this is what happens. She wants to like get pets and like rub against my face and just generally give me allergies.
Well, you can give your you can give your cat some love, and I will share my updated on the fly 49ers running back projections that I never even looked at Twitter, just totally trusted Chris that the thing that he said was accurate.
It was Mike Garofalo tweeted it.
Update. No, I'm just saying, I'm just expressing the level of trust that I have in you. Raheem Mostert is running back 27 with a little over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. And Trey Sermon is running back 36 with about 850 yards and 6 touchdowns.
How many touchdowns do you think Sermon was at before? 4?
Yeah, I think both went up 2.5.
Well, if you're in the chat right now, comment Cat. Get Cat going. See if we can get 100 comments with Cat on them. Because now the cat is frozen, and it's just me and Heath on the stream right now.
Wow. The cat froze its butt on us.
Completely. That's kind of inappropriate.
I think it was intentional, obviously.
Oh,
this definitely is what I'm always worried about when she's around.
Yeah.
All right, let's move
on. Am I back? Are things okay now?
Chris is back.
Okay.
Things are somewhat okay, I guess. From G White, King Henry for Calvin Ridley straight up in Dynasty. Heath, I did see Derrick Henry was not in tier 1 of your running backs. So I'm going to guess you're going to lean Ridley, but let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, you should do that. You should do that for sure. If, especially like the only reason I hesitate is I would rather have Henry this year. And so if I had a team that I thought like I was in the title game last year, or I think I got a shot this year, I'd have a hard time trading Henry away.
Very similar question. DeAndre Swift, top 5 running back. Would you trade him for Calvin Ridley if that was a thing? You're super optimistic on Swift this year, but how about for the next few years?
I've got DeAndre Swift at number 5 in my Dynasty top 150. So not just a top 5 PPR running back, but a top 5 Dynasty asset. I think the sky is the limit, and even with the Jamal Williams getting 150 touches, we've seen we know how Anthony Lynn's offense has worked, And sometimes, as with Arthur Smith, they give us indicators that, I'm not going to do what I did in my prior place. But Anthony Lynn goes to the Lions, and they put no priority whatsoever on acquiring any wide receivers who look like they should be starting wide receivers in the NFL at this point in their career. I think
that's because they got their A back for $2.5 million a year in free agency.
They're going to throw 100 passes to DeAndre Swift. They're going to throw another 75 to Jamal Williams, and 125 are going to TJ Hawkinson. And it'll probably be enough because they're only going to run 900 plays most likely. Yeah, I think Swift is awesome. Like, as far as talent goes, like I know Chris, running back doesn't matter, but I think he's good. So the fact that he's going to have Anthony Lynn and he's going to have his talent, I love it.
Would prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good trick.
He's frozen. Well, in the meantime, Pat from Ohio. What's up, Pat? What is up, fellas? Where is Adam? Heath, if you were to guess, you didn't know where Adam was tonight, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m., what would you say?
He has a headache. My guess, I'm not going to, like, where's Adam? He's at home. That's where Adam always is. Like, there's no question where Adam is. It is what is the thing that is preventing Adam from doing the podcast. And that could be, internet. It could be a variety of things. But I would have guessed he has a headache.
Well, as you people may have seen in the beginning of the stream, his water is disgusting and he's fixing that issue. But maybe Chris is back right now. Nope, he's not back.
He's gone for good.
He's going to be gone.
He saw Adam get out of the show, and he's like, well, if Adam's not doing it.
My water's pretty bad, too.
Yeah.
From Andrew, what do we think of Kamara without Breeze?
The floor is a little lower. And if Taysom Hill wins the job, the floor is a lot lower. But I have him projected with Taysom Hill winning the job right now, and he's still a top 6 running back for me in redraft and a top 10 running back in Dynasty. So I still really like him. And if Jameis Winston wins the job, I'll move him up a little bit. I just think Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill too much.
Is there any chance Kamara catches 5+ balls a game?
Yeah, Jameis Winston wins the job. I think you should just go ahead and project him for 81 catches, because that's pretty much what he does every single year.
Every single year. All right, let's help Mickey out with some keepers. 2 QB league, 4 keepers. Who do I keep? Speaking of Alvin Kamara. Kamara in the first, Zeke in the second, Dak in the fourth, Kyler 6th, Akers 12th, Lamb 18th, Herbert 20th.
It's not the first. It's not Kamara or Zeke. If it's a 2 QB league, Dak and Kyler are better values in the 4th and 6th than they are in the 1st and 2nd. I'm trying to decide Dak. Oh no, you got Herbert in the 20th.
Herbert in the 20. I would lock that.
So
in.
Kyler and Herbert is what I would go.
Is there any chance Akers in the 12th is better than Kyler in the 6th?
There's a chance, but 2 QB league, I got a chance to start with Kyler and Herbert, and I still get my top 5 picks. You're going to have a stacked running back and receiver core too.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you there. Let's do Kyler and Herbert. All right, from Mario, 1 QB league, what round do you take Josh Allen? A guy who's probably going in the top 3, top 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've not, because I have Lamar ahead of him, I've not drafted Josh Allen yet this year, because everybody else seems to be taking him ahead of Lamar. I've got Allen, I think, in round 5. I've got him in round 5. You could have to go in round 4 if you really, really want him.
All right. From Mikey G, my first pick is at the end of round 2 in Dynasty rookie only draft, I would assume. What rookies do you like at that spot at the end of round 2?
None. If I assume you are a 12-team league, if you're a 10-team league, then there's a chance that a few guys will still be there. There's a chance even in a 12-team league that a few guys will still be there at 22. But there's a pretty steep drop-off right around there unless you really need a quarterback or it's a 2 QB league. But you might find Amari Rodgers there around 20. You might find Amon-Ra St. Brown. You might find Kenneth Gainwell. Those guys are the guys, maybe Justin Fields. I'd love that. Possibly Trey Lance. But you get, like, I've got Gainwell 20th in 1 QB. and there's not really much I like after that. So I'd like to move up into like the top 18 so I could get one of those receivers I kind of like.
You mentioned Fields. This is from RUMBOYZ Fantasy Network. What's going on, fellas? Thinking of packaging Fields and Dalton together. I would assume it's a 2 QB Superflex type Dynasty league. Is it a smart move? What kind of quarterback could RUMBOYZ target there?
I think it makes somebody a little bit more excited about taking Fields because it's tough to trade for a quarterback in a 2 QB league or even a 1 QB league if they're not going to start at the beginning of the year. But I love Fields. I've actually got him 12th at quarterback before he ever plays a game in Dynasty. In 1 QB, I think he's in that Dallas Goddard, Kadarius Toney, James Conner range. And I don't know that Dalton really changes that very much. If it's a 2 QB league, then I'm maybe somebody like Cup, Lockett or Judy, something like that.
All right, a little bit of wide receiver value. All right. Evan has the number 2 overall pick. We're going to get this question all summer long. PPR league. Who is your number 2 pick?
It's Dalvin. There's not like they've all got warts now, but at least if things go right for Dalvin, we know he's on a good offense. I don't know for sure what the Giants situation is going to look like. They might just be awful. They scored like 5 touchdowns last year.
Is there anything that could happen in the offseason that would...
Might need to fact check on that one.
Yeah.
I think it's right.
Is there anything in the offseason that would change Dalvin going number 2 for you, Heath, outside of Dalvin getting hurt?
That's it. Maybe
Dalvin number 2 for sure.
You know, it would change Dalvin going number 2 in terms of ADP. That doesn't have anything to do with Dalvin, I think. And you guys can tell me if this is wrong. Nyheim Hines getting hurt.
Marlon Mack is still a Colt.
I don't know if Marlon Mack will even be ready for the start of the season, though.
Yeah. I think they're going to throw to their running backs a lot less anyway, so I don't know if that would be necessarily a gigantic boost to Taylor. I think it would probably be some kind of boost, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to suddenly turn and make him a 90% snap share guy. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say he should be number 2. I was just saying that, like the way public opinion already has him number 6, you give him one more reason to get excited.
I think the thing that could change that and make Dalvin Cook RB3 would be if Jameis Winston is named the starter for the Saints. I think that would be really good for their offense as a whole, and it would lead to more targets for Kamara, or at least Kamara's typical target share.
All right, let's see if Keith can give us his top choice of a kicker.
I like asparagus quite a bit more than broccoli. I do. Broccoli's best when it's roasted and just a little bit charred, I think. And
Yes.
asparagus is best on the grill, but I prefer asparagus pretty strongly.
Agreed.
No doubt here. Chris, who's your top kicker this year?
I'll
You
be
have
honest.
the first pick in the last round of the draft.
I
Who
have
are you
not
taking?
thought about the kicker position yet.
Like literally, Chris does not have kicker rankings.
Yeah, no, I have not started doing that yet. I'm sorry if that makes me a bad fantasy analyst, but here, let's see.
Remember that game we used to play on the baseball podcast where I would give Adam players and he had to guess what team they were on?
No,
And
I mean, I would be okay at that for kickers.
I think the Chris name, like, I think that would be a little bit of fun. It would be less fun if I had to do it.
Let's say Younghoe Koo. Number 1 kicker.
I'm going to say Harrison Butker.
Sure.
You're such a homer. Jason Sanders, come on.
Sure.
You know who Cody Parkey is kicking for now, Chris?
Cody Parkey is kicking for the Eagles.
I think that was true once.
I think that have only been like 20.
I mean, like the kicker I will draft is whichever one has the worst defensive matchup in week 1 who is available when I make my final pick. That's like, I don't look at kickers long term. I don't think I think there's almost outside of a handful of offenses, there's almost no difference between them, and you're better off just streaming them every single week.
So, but I disagree with that point. I think you're better off picking one who plays like indoors and just never thinking about it. It's stressful and not. I write the streaming column, and defenses and tight ends and quarterbacks. I'm all about it. I don't. The kicker one is like you just feel like a big dummy when you drop a guy and his team scores 16 points that week, but they're all field goals. 15 points. But they're all field goals.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Last year, the top 5 were Daniel Carlson, Ryan Suckup, Jason Sanders, Younghoe Koo, and Tyler Bass.
Yeah, but I could I could just start the Cowboys kicker and feel like every week I could justify it by saying they're going to be in a high scoring game and he's indoors and I don't ever have to worry about it.
Yeah, we thought one of those 5 would be in a high scoring offense, or 2, I guess. Atlanta. So
all right, let's move on to
that was too much time.
Question. All right, keeping 1, Zeke in the 2nd, AJ Brown in the 4th, full PPR, 10-team league.
AJ Brown.
I would go Zeke. I think Brown's a 3rd round pick for me.
And Zeke's a 1, so that's fair. I would go Zeke.
Yeah, the difference between a second round pick and a 1st round pick is bigger than the 4th and the 3rd.
Really depends on which pick he has.
That's true. All right, where?
Sure,
do we think
yes.
Julio
If you have the number
Jones
1, if you.
Where's Julio Jones going? It's not Dallas.
No, I don't think it's Dallas. I don't know. There seems to be smoke with the Patriots. There seems to be mutual interest. Why not? I don't.
Why? Why is Julio interested in going to the Patriots?
Look, I didn't report it. Take it up with. I was like a Boston area guy who reported it. So I don't know if we actually.
I will go with the Ravens. I'll go Baltimore.
That's what it is. I will say the Chargers. Just because that's the one I want.
Chiefs. No, I think
Homer.
the Chargers is my answer as well. From Jerry, Mike Davis ranking, and then also trade value. Let's call it Dynasty trade value.
Top 20 running back.
Top 20.
Yeah, I haven't updated it yet. I need to, and I think he is a top 20 running back, but I've got it. Like he's going to be somewhere. He's not going to go. I don't think I'm going to get him higher than 20. I really don't want to put him ahead.
I mean, technically, I have him 21 right now.
Yeah.
All right, Rodgers goes to Las Vegas. Does that move Ruggs? Is Edwards attractive at all?
It would have to. Aaron Rodgers is too good not to have at least one viable fantasy wide receiver, but I have no idea which one it would be. I don't feel particularly strongly about any of them. My guess would be Ruggs, but he's not exactly. I mean, I guess he could be like a Jordy Nelson type playing with Aaron Rodgers. That's kind of the one true deep threat that Rodgers has really vibed with. Edwards, I don't know. A lot of people liked him as a prospect, but there was nothing in his rookie season to really make you think that was worth it. Darren Waller.
It's Waller. Like he might be. I mean, he might be tight end 1.
Kenyon
but
Drake.
Mostly, I would just be done with Rodgers. I would not be drafting him. That's not going to work. There's no way that works.
He's not a top 12 quarterback for you?
Not if he's on the Raiders. No, that's not going to work.
All right, back to DeAndre Swift. Do we really trust him? Is he going to get the keep calm and carry on experience?
it's different, totally
I
different
hope he
coaching.
stays healthy.
Yeah, me too. Carry on was good.
Yep. I mean, look, the quotes from Anthony Lynn that came out earlier this week or late last week, I don't think you can ignore them. I think it should make you think that there is at least some risk that DeAndre Swift won't be the kind of every single down player that we thought he was, certainly when the season ended. I think there's going to be a legitimate split there, and it's probably something like 60-40 in Swift's favor, but it's going to be frustrating. And my biggest concern is just I think that offense is going to stink. I think it's going to be really bad.
I agree completely with the 60-40 split, and maybe it will be bad enough to where they just can't run enough plays. But historically, with the way Anthony Lynn runs his offense, it's a 60-40 split of 30 touches. And so he's still at 16 or 17 touches a game.
Yeah. And obviously, if
Right.
he's in an Eckler-esque role, that would have a ton of value. But he certainly didn't show Eckler chops as a receiver, as a rookie, I don't think.
All right, Heath, you still have Travis Kelce in your tier 1 for dynasty tight ends. How long until Kelce falls off?
Like I had him out of tier 1 at one point earlier this off, like last season. He's on. I go back and forth with how to factor in the fact that I think he might be 20% better than everybody else this year, and he might fall off a cliff in value. Like his value can't go up in dynasty. Those are two things that are hard to square. So it's more a question about where is your team in relation to Kelce. If you have a team that's a contender, then you can treat him. I would have no problem with treating him like his redraft value. But if you have Travis Kelce on a team that's not very good or that's just kind of average, it's probably past time to make the trade.
Yeah.
All right, end of first round in dynasty. Who are we targeting? The Ramrod 130 wants to know.
Let me see. Is this
I assume
guess
it's
we
rookie.
need yeah, rookie
Rookie
draft.
only.
Sermon probably won't last that long. There was a time when he might have. Rondell Moore, if he's there at 112, I'd be pretty happy with him.
Is he your favorite beyond like the top 3 wide receivers?
I think he is. I actually think I like him more than at least Waddle and Bateman for this year. I think could be close to Devontae Smith. I just think he's such a perfect fit for that offense and what they want to do.
Yeah, I love him, and I've got him ahead of like Carter and Sermon, and I think Javonte Williams, and maybe even Trevor Lawrence. But I do have Terrace Marshall ahead of him. I like those two a lot, both.
All right, what are our thoughts continuing on the rookies? On Kyle Pitts, Julio is not a Falcon. Is he a top tier tight end? I guess think in redraft, is he a top 5 tight end from Andrew Park?
You know, before I started doing my projections for the Falcons, I was like, rookie tight ends, you got to remember, even the really, really great ones took a long time. And, you know, Kyle Pitts is different, but Vernon Davis was supposed to be different too. And it took him 3 years to figure it out. Then I actually started projecting it. And even with Julio Jones there, I have Kyle Pitts breaking the rookie yardage record and as a top 5 tight end. I like him more than Hawkinson.
Not the modern rookie yardage record.
Yeah, the NFL rookie yardage record. Like post-merger.
Okay. Well, so not Mike Ditka's rookie year.
No, I think that was pre-merger. This is
Okay.
like 1988. I can't even remember who it was.
Yeah, I'm not like I saw JJ Zachariason had tweeted out yesterday. It's okay to project Kyle Pitts to break the rookie tight end records. And that sounds like more fun, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm probably not going to get him.
If Julio doesn't play, the only way he doesn't is if he gets hurt. I just like the rookie, like the yardage record, the NFL post-merger yardage record is 869 yards for rookie tight end. I know nobody's ever done it, but he's going to be the number 2 option in what will likely still be a high volume passing game.
that's the other variable, because like the fact that you're dealing away Julio when it was we're going to go draft Kyle Pitts and run Julio and Ridley and Kyle Pitts out there, I was willing to go away from my prior and say, you know what, Chris was right. Doesn't matter what Arthur Smith did in the past. If it's just Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts and Russell Gage and Olamide Zaccheaus in the passing game, then it's different to equate. Like it's Calvin Ridley and
is it that much different?
It's entirely different. Julio's a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Right. No, I agree, but it's still Mike Davis behind a line that hasn't been able to run the ball in 3 years. Probably longer.
Maybe so. I mean, it's different. It might result in Pitts getting 130 targets as a rookie tight end and just smashing everything.
Yeah. I don't know. We do have to remind ourselves, Mike Davis averaged 3.9 yards per carry last season. He was pretty good for fantasy for about 6 weeks. I don't think he was actually that good. I think he's still the replacement level.
This has nothing to do with Mike Davis.
Right. But I think it's a replacement level running back room behind a line that has not been able to produce a good running game in a while.
Sure. That doesn't necessarily it's Calvin Ridley and a replacement level receiving core.
I think Kyle Pitts makes it slightly better than that. You can't take the two best guys out and say, well, this like the Seahawks receiving room is probably replacement level if you take out DK Metcalf, but like that's DK Metcalf's a pretty good player.
Tyler Lockett's amazing.
Tyler Lockett's really good, but he's a 5'9" low volume efficiency receiver.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get to a few more questions. Tyler Lockett's great. We're live until 8 p.m. Eastern. Hit that like button if you haven't already and leave your questions. We'll be sure to answer all of them. Like I said, until 8 p.m. Eastern. So let's see right here. Standard scoring 10-team league, 6 points per passing touchdowns. Keep 2 out of Swift, CEH, Sanders, Mahomes, Jefferson, and Ridley.
It would be.
So of the running backs, Swift, CEH, Sanders, Swift is top dog.
Yeah, it would be CEH and Ridley for me.
Oh, you go Clyde over Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Swift and Jefferson unless Julio's gone. Swift and Ridley.
Let's see. Next question. How early is too early? From Mr. Taux. I want to say tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. To piggy off this, how early is too early for Ridley? Late second? Mid second?
He's got number 1 overall wide receiver upside.
Too early is the first round. Anywhere in the second is acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, let's get another one.
Yeah, man. How much did Julio play? I'm trying to remember what weeks Julio was out because Ridley
had like 7 partial games. They're impossible splits to do. It's awful. I've tried and it's just no fun at all.
Okay, he didn't play the final 4 games, and Ridley had 31 catches, 469 yards, and 2 touchdowns in those 4 games. It's pretty good.
Let's get 1 trade target from both of you guys in Dynasty, non-rookies.
Okay, someone I would be trying to trade for. I think anyone coming off a disappointing season who's still like Ezekiel Elliott, I would be trying to trade for. I think his value is lower right now than it probably should be. Maybe George Kittle. I don't know how much lower his value is coming off that season, but I think he's a difference maker. Michael Thomas. There is we're in a weird spot with wide receiver in particular in Dynasty though. And Heath, I'm sure you're well aware of this going through the tiers and rankings and all that. The guys who have proven they're elite are all 28 or older, really. I think Diggs might be 27, but he's an old 27. And then the next guys up haven't quite proven that they can have that 1,400 yard, 10 touchdown season. So it's a really interesting, like, Lamb could make that jump. Jefferson could make that jump, but they haven't done it yet.
I'm trying to buy Josh Jacobs and Mark Andrews.
Does that make
And
sense?
I'm trying to sell Mike Evans.
Yep.
If I'm not like really in it, Julio for sure. And
I would
Kelsey.
be trying to sell Thielen. I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance we already saw the bottom fall out for Thielen, or at least start to, and he just made up for it with a ridiculous touchdown rate. And maybe Amari Cooper as a buy.
Let's talk about the Texans a little bit. Nico Collins, how high are you on him? Are you taking him with a second last round pick in a redraft league, or is he Dynasty exclusive?
Like at some point, we're going to have to actually talk about the Texans. Right now, we just couch everything in, well, we don't know. And this is how it might be. And this is how, like,
But we don't know.
I know, but we're going to start making decisions.
Decisions have to be made is the issue.
I have 15 drafts going on right now.
I think Nico Collins is a late round flyer. If he goes undrafted in a standard 12-team league, that wouldn't be surprising at all. I think that'll probably be the default until we have some sense of what Deshaun Watson's going to do. But there's a chance he's the number 2 target in a team that doesn't throw the ball to their tight ends much, doesn't throw the ball to their running backs much. It's a really valuable role for wide receivers. I wish he was more productive in college. You know, even accounting for the offense he was in, his target share and dominator ratings were pretty run of the mill, but he seems like a very good athlete. So I think there's a chance, and he really doesn't. Like, if he sparks in training camp, he could legitimately be the number 2 wide receiver for Deshaun Watson in week 1. I think it's very unlikely Deshaun Watson starting for the Texans in week 1 at least.
All right. Birants wants to know, when is the next session? We will be live again next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll have another podcast dropping tomorrow night or Thursday morning on YouTube. So be ready for that, but we'll be live again next Tuesday. From Cooper Drake, grade my trade. Swift and a 2022 first for Harris and Galladay, non-PPR.
I'll probably be on an island on this one. Who do you like better, Swift or Harris in Dynasty, Chris?
I think it's really close. I guess Swift, just because he's proven. Like, he's done it in the NFL, at least shown he can be a very productive player in the NFL.
I think he's younger.
When their long-term situations just aren't that much different. And he's probably at least a year younger.
Yeah. I think I like a 2022 first better than Galladay.
Yeah.
So give me the Swift side.
If you're getting the Swift side, is it
non-PPR
an A minus? We do have to give
non-PPR could change it.
Yeah, I'm still going Swift over Harris. And I'm still going a 2022 first over Galladay. I'm going to give it an A to the Swift side.
Yeah, I'm more like a B because it is non-PPR.
All right, from Jake. Dynasty League, he has Chubb and Hunt. Does he target another running back? Does he target Pitts? I would imagine he's a top 3, top 4 pick in the draft, in the rookie draft. Does he need a running back?
I would take Harris if I had a choice between him and Pitts, and this was if those were my top 2 running backs.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take ETN over Pitts if those were my top 2 running backs. I think Harris is the one.
Well, it depends on what stacked at the other positions means. Is your tight end Darren Waller?
Yeah. If your tight end is, I would say anyone but the big 3 and maybe Andrews and Hawkinson, I would probably go Pitts.
I would extend that to Fant, but otherwise agree.
Let's do a couple more questions. Leave your questions real quick. We've got 5 more minutes. From Jason Lee, Cooper Kupp or Deontay Johnson in the 5th?
The good one.
I know I'm higher on Deontay than Heath is. but I think I'm higher on Kupp than Heath is as well.
I meant Cooper Kupp when I said the good one. I think
Yes, he's
know
my number 13 wide receiver.
Well, Jake says Delaney Walker is my tight end. I don't know if it's a joke. I hope it is, but it may be true. And if that's the case, it's definitely Pitts. Yeah.
that's the Pitts.
Yeah.
This one's from Alex. I have the 41st pick. Mahomes is still on the board, Allen as well, and I have Diggs. This is a best ball draft. Do I take Allen to get that Diggs stack, or do I just have to go Mahomes?
Mahomes and Diggs could have good games the same week too. That seems pretty likely. I think Allen's awesome, but the gap between him and Mahomes is not small.
That's the key, because like I have definitely seen projections, especially in 4-point per pass touchdown leagues, where people have projected Josh Allen to actually score more points than Patrick Mahomes, or for it to only be a 20-point difference.
Yeah.
If that's your view of the two, then I think that much of a difference is worth having the stack.
Sure.
I in a 6-point per pass touchdown league have Mahomes scoring 62 more fantasy points. Now in 4-point, it's only 7. So it depends on your scoring.
Let's go one last question. This is from Evan. Remember, we're going to be back here 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend, answering more questions then. This one's from Evan. Mark Andrews or Pitts, full PPR?
It has to be Andrews. As much as I've talked up Pitts.
Yeah. I wish that I could somehow, I obviously don't, because I don't ever convince anybody I'm on the show with, but I wish I could somehow convey like what Mark Andrews has done so far and established himself at as this age at this position. And we're just not giving him credit for that. We're acting like he's TJ Hawkinson, and we're projecting TJ Hawkinson to be Mark Andrews already. He's been awesome at a young age, and he's still, I think, very likely to be the number 1 target on the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think
Kyle Pitts could be anything. He could be Mark Andrews.
Well, yeah, no, I have Pitts above Hawkinson, but I'd still take Andrews. I think it's actually kind of stunning that their ADPs are only 3 spots apart in NFC since the start of May. But
Kyle Pitts, by the time we get to August, Kyle Pitts is going to be tight end 4. Like, that's been determined.
Yeah. I think there's like the top 3, big gap. Andrews, Pitts, smaller gap, Hawkinson. That's the way I view it, at least. Because like Hawkinson hasn't been that good yet.
I think
he hasn't been
bad. You left that off.
Like he certainly hasn't looked special so far in his career. I think Noah Fant is a better receiver than him. I don't know if he's a better player, but I think Fant, if you put them in the same offense, and Fant might be in a better offense, I think he'd be the better fantasy player. So I'm not quite buying the TJ Hawkinson huge breakout season.
All right. Well, thanks for the tight end talk, guys. A lot of Dynasty talk today. We will see all of you not only on the Thursday podcast, but Tuesday night as well. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, hit that like button, comment something fun, and we'll talk to you guys next Tuesday night, 7 p.m.